All right, guys, so spawning over here in the right side of the map, it looks like a little bit of a color switch once again. Red, of course, is 3-1 up. Can Red make it 4-1? But don't forget, of course, guys, the actual score is 2-all in the right-hand side of the map, representing Team SCV Life. Guys, we have Polt and his opponent spawning in the left-hand side as the blue Protoss. Let's see if he can pull one back for the blue team. This, of course, is a map that might favor Polt's style of play, so I wonder if Creator will come out with something different. We'll find out in just a second. He's spawning here on the left, representing Team Prime.
All right, so this is Sanshorn Miss, as we were mentioning before. It's a small map. It's very easy to drop. As you can see, there's not just this little helicopter landing pad that's actually accessible through your main that you do have to be very diligent at taking vision of. But there's a lot of space up and around the sides of the map. And the best part for people who are dropping, of course, is that there's not a lot of room behind the mineral line. Some of these maps that have bigger paths and more accessible drop paths will set the minerals out a little bit farther with the intention of allowing some structures or photon cannons or whatever the case may be, some sort of defense is set up to ward against drops. Not the case on this map. Very, very drop friendly.
And in addition to that, of course, it means that Marines and Marauders that are dropped behind the mineral line are more easily able to position themselves in between the minerals and just get a fantastic place where it's impossible, say, for example, for Zealots to get decent surface area up, as we do now see a probe paying his respects to Space Shark in the middle of the map. And, of course, Sanshorn missed the home of Space Shark, the first map ever that Space Shark was in the center of the map, the centerpiece of. So that's going to be his home and going to be popping into the main base here of Polt. Not going to be able to scout too much at this moment in time. Knows that a barracks is gone. Actually, not even going into the main base yet to see for gas. Are we going to see the supply depot go down? We are. Yeah. So that means Creator is not going to know how many gases Polt has taken, and he won't know whether this is a one-racks expand or something else.
Yeah, this is he can't definitively know right now. Looked like he wanted to try and block the supply depot for a while and put on some additional pressure, which indeed he is doing. The time of that supply depot, though, certainly suggests that he didn't get gas, but we'll find out in just a bit what Creator reacts to. He himself, though, is going for a second gas back at home. This is the first time he's done this before he's expanded. This could just as easily be a sentry expand off of just one gate, but it could be something else altogether indeed. So Polt going to roll in there, and he'll get a great read on that second gas. Not a lot of chrono boost saved up, so it's not going to be early gateway pressure.
That's a really good spot there, actually. And to be perfectly honest, it's a little bit frustrating for Creator in this position, because ideally you'd want to be able to send the probe in just one more time to check if a tech lab or something goes on the barracks, so that you can see if there's any sort of tech. But of course, with that first Marine out, just delaying that gas scouting by a little bit, Creator's going to have to guess a little bit more, which is perhaps why we see him go for the second gas before he grabs his expansion. Just wants to be a little bit more safe. But of course, Polt actually just transitioning into, or rather never transitioned out of even, the one racks expand style, and he's just going to be completely safe, especially in the knowledge that Creator hasn't scouted him. So he must be in a very comfortable position right now.
And indeed, it looks like Creator's moving down with a probe to expand. This was kind of a weird way to go about it, but may be successful in throwing his opponent off, which it looks like he kind of wants to do. A lot of gas saved up. Could also be some sort of delayed Twilight Council DTs. Now, as soon as I say that, puts down a sentry. So it is just going to be a sentry expand that hits with fewer sentries at the beginning of the game. Just a weird way to go about it.
We'll have to wait and see how he wants to manage this aggression. Of course, Polt now getting the bunker up at the front of his natural expansion as well. And once again, I'm going to say, especially with fewer sentries, Polt should be able to hold this. But like the last game where I predicted that with the bunker, immediately went down. So I'm sure he won't make the same mistake twice. He'll have some SCVs in place if he sees any aggression coming out.
Yeah.
Important, of course, to grab that watchtower vision when you can, so that you know that your opponent is at least doing something or trying to rest watchtower vision. There might be an attack coming. Great idea. But as we currently see, neither player actually holding the watchtower, and Creator actually going to be the first person to do so. So Polt just has to be a little bit defensive here. Wait for a potential timing coming out of Creator. We do see a couple more gateways and a robotic facility coming out of him as well. So shortly we could be seeing possibly some Immortals with this push. We'll have to wait and see.
Could very well be. Creator.Prime, though, being Creator.Prime, could very well just drop down Double Forge here in a minute as he produces his first couple of observers and then decide to to move back into that Colossus strategy. Now, we have seen on this map specifically, as Squirtle demonstrated for us at IPL4, that the very quick 2-base Colossus builds are quite impressive on this map. And I'm talking about the very cheesy ones, the ones that hit off of 2 bases, Robotics Bay pretty early on, then just slap down 3 more gates, no forges, go at about 11 minutes when you have your 3rd Colossus rallied out. If that's going to be the case, then Polt could be in a little bit of trouble, but it looks like he's preparing a little bit better for any such possibility. 2nd bunker already being thrown down at the front.
Yeah, Polt not wanting to lose to the same style of push, if you like, 2 games in a row here, just going to have that backup bunker as well, and that's really going to shore up his natural against any sort of frontal attack, especially with that SimCity using those supply depots there as well. He should be more or less okay at this point. He really does want to get a little bit of scouting done, though, on Creator, just to be doubly sure that he knows exactly what's going. In fact, he might... a scan wouldn't necessarily be out of the question if he just wanted to be completely sure. Depending on what he saw, he might even decide to go take his 3rd. But right now, neither player has really done much scouting of the other, and both of them just being a little bit cagey this game.
And this is a curious decision out of Polt as well, deciding to put down 2 reactors rather than 2 tech labs and a single reactor. So really wants to prioritize the amount of Marines that he's going to have in this army. And in fact, it looks like it may pay off, as Creator actually is going for a Twilight Council. So he's going to be a little bit later to Colossi. That being the case, it's going to make the DPS from the Marines a lot more powerful. Marines are incredibly fragile whenever they have to go up against Colossi, but apart from that, they're pretty much good in every other circumstance.
That's right. The range that the Colossi get from extended thermal and just able to roast Marines before Marines even get into range, which is why, the main reason why they're so good. But if you're going to be going for a different tech path this early on against a really bio-heavy composition, it's not like you're going to be getting Psionic Storm that quickly in the game. And without those Colossi popping out here from Creator, in fact, just going for the Twilight Council and the additional gateways, Polt might have a little bit of leverage here with his additional units.
Now, the one thing, once again, we kind of talked about this on Antigua Shipyard, that Creator.Prime could very well do, though. He's already got Observer sitting over his opponent's base. He's going to be on 6 gate and blink. Very much has a possibility because of the sheer amount of cliff line that's available to a player going for blink. Could blink in, pick off some SCVs, maybe an add-on or 2, blink out without taking too much damage. But now it looks like he's going to actually have to defend a giant push. This is just going to come with 2 medevacs. This is incredibly strong. What exactly does Creator have to defend this? No AoE, which really, really hurts. Just trying furiously to put up a 7th gate right now and do whatever damage he can, but he really has to be on his best behavior now because Polt could just overwhelm him here.
He needs to be very careful indeed. Polt is currently ahead 102 to 91 supply here. It's at the 10-minute and 30-second mark, and this bio army is looking pretty fearsome indeed. Oh, decent force fields, able to cut some of that army back, but don't forget we now have the medevacs joining in the back as well. An awful lot of stalkers from those warpins from Creator, and it looks like about just under half of that army able to get mopped up. And wow, excellent blink forward, taking out the medevacs, and that's going to prompt a stim and run back from Polt. Creator wisely moving back there, knowing that the medevacs aren't there to stim the bio army, to heal the bio army rather anymore, and Polt is forced to move back with that army significantly in the yellow.
That's right, so blinks back one more time, just getting whatever damage he possibly can. Looks like another scan does hit the observer that was floating overhead there, but of course, this being Creator, he does have a lot more ready, and the factory will indeed fall down, but very nice job. Polt does manage to get an armory out just in time.
And Creator actually producing nothing but stalkers from warpins at the moment. Notice how Polt is still producing SCVs 2 at a time, or was until a couple of seconds ago.
Right.
So it looks like Creator really looking to do an incredible amount of damage here on the counterattack, and it looks like towards the north of the map, yes, we do have that warpin going to be terrorizing the 3rd base of Polt pretty shortly. Not even warping in Zealots, just wanting to absolutely destroy his opponent with this ranged army.
Wow, he's bypassing the 3rd. He just wants to kill him right now. So Creator going to make his way up to the front, going to require good control, but of course we've seen that out of him so far. He's only lost 1 stalker thus far. A lot of SCVs are pulled off of the line. No. Creator continuing to go forward right now. Polt losing quite a bit. Creator has to back up for the moment until he can take out a little bit more of that buffer.
But once again, no repair on the bunker in the middle. The SCVs were pulled, but they were pulled not to repair, but just to act as a buffer there, and it looks like Polt gonna have to do this without static defense. The SCVs are still pulled. He's losing a lot of mining time at the very least here, and Polt is doing nothing but producing more and more units. Could he be going ahead once again in this best of 9 series? Polt is just being prodded at the front, and we are just waiting until Creator decides the time is right for an offensive blink forward. Maybe after he picks off a couple more medevacs, we'll have to wait and see. Nice blink micro there with the Stalkers up top, losing a couple, but not too many. And the SCVs now being pulled as well, but they are taking a decent amount of damage. Only about 8 Marauders left, and look at the number of Stalkers that are now on the low ground. Creator, there we go. There's the offensive blink forward. Only a couple of Marauders left in this mix, and I don't think Polt is going to be able to hold. The current workers killed shows 29-0, and I'll tell you what, that is a pretty huge advantage. Some of the medevacs actually getting sniped off as well. Now Polt desperately trying to keep a hold of his production structures, but another blink forward is going to mean every single medevac goes down, and the SCV is being pulled in the main base as well. It looks like Creator is going to go ahead 3-2.
That's right. This is an incredible display of skill out of Creator here. Knew when to flip on the kill switch, and his control has been so good this entire process. Look how many of those suckers are low. Draws the GG out. Creator goes up 3-2 now in this best of 9.